Welcome to the morning after season 28 preview. I will do my best to keep it short. So it's a little long, so I apologize. Couple reminders: if you haven't paid me, please do so. If you see me, so Dane. Otherwise, I think a lot of you guys have said you sent it. If not, please do so soon. If it's not received by the start of the second week, we'll have to take 10 points off. It won't come off the game, but just on the season total. And then keep an eye on the morning after show as the season end of it approaches. If you have any questions about how the tweaks are going to work, should be pretty self-explanatory. I think I have a pretty good walkthrough there. So get down to the business at hand, because this will probably take a while. First of all, let's get to the Badgers. Last year they finished 8-5. This year we have Jalen Hurts and Trey Lance, so high upside runners, probably arguably maybe the two best power running quarterbacks in the league. Christian McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, Mike Davis, Zach Moss, Terry McLaurin, love Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Laviska. And then this year, I think the turning point of his team will probably come down to Javonte. If Javonte Williams turns out to be a really good number 2 receiver or running back, it's a scary team because McCaffrey's McCaffrey and he's awesome. With that, the Badgers could be really tough if that happens. So we'll have to see about that, but looking like a pretty good team, especially if Jalen Hurts keeps his job all year, and if he doesn't, does Lance pull through and become a starter? If so, could be very, very scary. Black Dingo's up next, 6-7 last year, just missed the playoffs. Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow at quarterback, so he's two very solid options. Maybe not as high floors or high ceiling as some other guys, but a pretty high floor with the combination of them. Dalvin Cook, Myles Gaskin, Mark Ingram, questionable depth. And then the apparently it's all tight ends there. Waller, Kittle, Hockenson, and Tunyon. Turning point on him, if those receivers turn out good, and Waller's awesome, he gets tons of targets. Kittle, will he get a few more touchdowns? Hockenson and Tunyon and Mark Ingram, will one of those guys, and then 2 of them have to show up, really, for that to be a good team. But the rest of it is pretty solid. Last year, by the way, some people didn't like the helmet, probably the least popular one, so redid it a little bit this year with that, and then also the year he came into the league. So that is the Black Dingoes, and that is their team. Next up, we hit team number 3 in the Gargoyles. 3-10 last year, and the winner of the Toilet Bowl. If you've seen the Jork pictures, you know how impressive that was. Aaron Rodgers and Trevor Lawrence, very good quarterbacking. Derrick Henry, one of the best players in a long time in the NFL. CEH, Kareem Hunt, James Conner, and Justin Jefferson, Chris Godwin, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Higbee. Turning point for him will be CEH. If CEH can approach 8 touchdowns, maybe get a little more work throughout the year, being a little more consistent, very good team. Questionable maybe a little bit with Hunt, but Hunt is what he is. He's going to get some touchdowns. Jamar Chase, I think he had a bad preseason, but I think he'll be a pretty good player yet. So the Gargoyles, really good team. A little surprised, not going to lie. So one of his best drafts yet. Who knows how the Gargoyles will finish? I'll have to see what my predictions say at the end here. Next up, the returning Mike Smaulers. Last year went 7-6 in Wiffle and just missed the playoffs. Tom Brady and James Winston, last 2 Buccaneer quarterbacks, ironically. We have Alvin Kamara at running back, David Montgomery, Gus Edwards, so very good running back and crew. A.J. Brown, love A.J. Brown. Cortland Sutton, Michael Gallup, Juju Smith-Schuster. Turning point on him will be his number 2 and 3 receivers. Sutton, if he's fully healthy, he's at least a high-end number 3, maybe low-end 2, which I think you need. And then Juju and Gallup you kind of piece together. Should be good enough there. But we have the Maulers back in the league, the sharp-ass helmet, and a very nice draft by the Maulers there, and a very good division as a whole. Looking it over, you'll see who I picked to win it. It was not easy. Everybody's kind of bunched up there. I don't see a whole lot of separation between those teams. They're all very good. Next up is the Central Division, and the other Wiffle League guy was a middle-round pick, and it was a lot harder than I thought it was, as you'll see from these teams. The Bruisers last year went 7-6, made the playoffs. Matt Stafford and Tua, so some interesting upside there for those guys, and relatively high floors, so it should be safe. Zeke, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift, Darrell Henderson, very good running backs. In my opinion, the second best running back crew in the league. Joe Mixon will be interesting. I really like Joe Mixon, so we'll see how that pans out. And Zeke is Zeke. And DeAndre Swift, if he's healthy, is real good. Receivers, Keenan Allen, Kyle Pitts, Robbie Anderson and Tyler Boyd. Turning point on his season could be Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts turns out to be baby Megatron. Could be very good. If he doesn't, the receivers are a little questionable. Quarterback is good. Not super high ceiling. Running backs are really good though, so a very good team there too. But a little more question marks probably than the team in those first division. Next up, we have Dr. Dangerous, Kyler Murray. Probably, no offense, the worst running back group in the league. James Robinson was very good last year and should be the man this year, but it's Urban Meyer, so who knows exactly. Leonard Fournette, we'll see who becomes the man in Tampa. Tony Pollard, probably the best high-end handcuff in the league, so that's real good. Receivers, arguably the best receiving group in the league. Maybe one of the persons can lay claim to it, but I would say it'll be Dr. Dangerous having the best receivers with Devontae. Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, Jerry Jeudy, DJ Chark, varying degrees of ceiling, and just overall really, really good. Turning point for him on the year, how it'll turn out. If James Robinson becomes what he was last year, as top 10 running back, gets so much work. If he finishes probably as a top 12 running back, I think Dane will be very tough to beat this year. His weakness will be his running back 2, which will be equal to a lot of people's flex because it will not be strong unless trade or whatever. But yeah, that's the receiving core is fantastic, and Kyler's got a good ceiling too. Next up, team Little Big Men. Last year finished 7-6, made the playoffs. Josh Allen at quarterback, who was awesome last year. The goal line back for the Bills. Running backs, we have Jonathan Taylor, A.J. Dillon, and Jamal Williams. Next to Dane, probably the second worst running back in crew. Taylor should help carry him. Dillon, needs an injury, probably to really have a role. He'll get some carries. Jamal Williams, splitting time too, better than Dane's, but a lot of other people's are a little better there. Another good receiving crew here with DK Metcalf, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk. Got some questions there. Devontae Smith, how much will the Eagles pass? And Michael Thomas is the turning point on his season for the Little Big Men. You look at it, if Michael Thomas is like the old Michael Thomas when he comes back in Week 7, if he comes back in Week 7, that's very, very good. But will he return to the role he used to have 2 years ago? Will Jameis throw to him? Will they establish chemistry? We'll see. And how healthy will he be? He seems to have developed a bit of a unhappiness in New Orleans, so we'll have to see how that pans out. But although if he comes back to that, that's a very good receiving crew, and Taylor and Dillon should be enough to hold down the fort there as a decent running back and crew. Next up's the Minotaurs. Last year finished 6-7, just missed the playoffs. Baker Mayfield at quarterback, worst quarterback group in the league. Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, Melvin Gordon. High floor, limited ceiling probably on those guys. DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, Chase Claypool, Mark Andrews, Marvin Jones. Like that is a sneaky good receiving crew. Kupp has a lot of upside. Chase Claypool, untapped potential. Mark Andrews is probably the best option in Baltimore. Marvin Jones, you never know. Maybe he's going to be Trevor Lawrence's main guy. Turning point for him will be Baker Mayfield. If for the Minotaurs, Baker Mayfield becomes a better fantasy quarterback, that could be a pretty good team. Running backs should be pretty consistent, steady Eddie. Baker Mayfield flops, it could be a tough year. Probably have to make a trade. Quarterbacks are easy to trade for. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Division that is all, I think, again, you're going to be like, we're saying the same thing. All the teams are kind of bunched up. I don't think it's as strong as division as the first division. Teams have a few more holes here and there, and as picking in my Wiffle League, it is hard to pick in that middle group this year because you kind of just didn't work out your way this year. Who knows, though? I just have to have things kind of go right at the end of the year. So next up, we have the South Division and the Fighting Sasquatches. Last year finished 3-10. Dak Prescott late in the draft. Really like that pick. Good quarterback. Running back Saquon. Questions about Saquon's health. Giants as a whole. Kenyon Drake, James White. Don't like that. Drake maybe, but we'll see. Very, very good receiving crew. In my opinion, second only to Dr. Dangerous. We have Stephon Diggs. We have Allen Robinson. Stupid auto draft. I really wanted Allen Robinson. He was right there before me. Adam Thielen. Tyler Lockett, another one that was stupid auto draft right before me. Was hoping to get him too. Really wanted Lockett, like that one. And then Galladay. We'll see how the Giants are. Turning point for him will probably, the hinge point will probably come down to old Saquon. Saquon Barkley is back to health. Weakness for him will be that running back 2, which will be a lot of people's like flex. Not great, but the rest of it's pretty darn good. So we will have to see on that. Saquon is back to his old self. If he's not, probably more of a middling team. Next up, my team last year went 12-1. Patrick Mahomes, who I never thought I'd have again because I don't like to draft quarterbacks early, but 4th round was too good a value to pass up. And Justin Fields, you're welcome, Hansel. Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, Chris Carson, Damian Harris, and then probably the worst receiving group in the league: Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins, Antonio Brown, Jalen Waddle, Corey Davis. My turning point of my season, barring injuries for any of this stuff, would have to be the receivers. If I need someone of Deontay or T. Higgins or one of those guys, I think I have a couple number 2s, probably 2 number 2s in there, and a whole bunch of number 3s. I need someone to step, a high-end number 2, and then maybe one of my number 3s ends up being number 2. So if I can get a couple number 2 receivers, it should be pretty good because I should have good receivers or running backs, and maybe some depth to trade if Damian Harris is the main guy. But asking Belichick to pick running backs is probably crazy on my part. Anyway, next up we have, at 11 minutes, I'm going to try to go faster. Price is Right. Last year went 8-5 Super Bowl champions. Best quarterback room in the league: Lamar and Tannehill, Antonio Gibson, Chase Edmonds, Trey Sermon. Then the wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, Robert Woods, Beckham, Brandon Cooks, Michael Pittman. Boom or bust for him. Sorry, that was not done. I apologize. That was a mistake. Boom or bust for him will be Trey Edmonds. Not Trey Edmonds. Edmonds from the Cardinals. Who's in my mind here? Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds, if he's a number 2, solid number 2 running back, he's got a pretty good team. Or Trey Sermon, one of the two really has to step up into that role. Cooks maybe could be a good flex, but nobody's throwing to him. If Chase Edmonds can be that player, he's got a pretty good chance to be pretty good. Will he get any touchdowns? Will he stay healthy? Will Trey Sermon get enough touches? That'd be his question there. Finally, we have the Horn Dogs picking at 12. Last year went 4-9. Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, very good quarterbacks. As long as the Seahawks continue to throw, that's an elite quarterback. Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders, Sony Michel, Ronald Jones. Pretty good running back group, pretty deep running back group. Travis Kelce, Amari Cooper, Deebo Samuel, Marquez Callaway. Marquez Callaway could be very good those first 6 weeks. And then his turning point in the year will be Austin Eckler. If Austin Eckler stays healthy, if Austin Eckler maybe finds the end zone, that's pretty good. Miles Sanders is what he is. Not the highest end running back too, but other guys that you can plug in there. So a pretty good division, actually. I think maybe a little better than the second division. Teams bunched again pretty close together. Next up to the best of the best. Best pick of the draft, my opinion. Pick number 81, Dak Prescott to the Sasquatches. I think there was, in my opinion, 5 elite quarterbacks, 5 high-end quarterbacks. I think Dak was number 5, and he went at pick 81. So congrats to ESPN on that pick. Best quarterback crew, like I said, Price is Right, Lamar and Tannehill. Not to toot my own horn, but beep beep. Cardinals, I'm going to give it to myself with Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, Damian Harris, Chris Carson. High upside, pretty good depth, pretty good floors. And the wide receiver was tough, but Dr. Dangerous wins on that one. So, division winners. Yep, that's not a typo. I'm going to go with the Gargoyles to win their division. Then next up at the Central Division, like I said, this is not easy, but I think it's going to be Dr. Dangerous. I like that receiving crew a lot. May have to make a move at get a running back at some point as a running back to someone who can be somewhat consistent. I don't believe in Leonard Fournette as a Buccaneer fan. I don't see him having a huge role this year. Could be wrong. Bruce Arians kind of tends to change who he likes. So go from there. Wonder who's going to win the South Division. So it wasn't as easy as usual years. I really liked the other teams in there, and I think they could all give me a run for my money. So we'll have to see how it plays out. And then this year in the Super Bowl, slightly different. Because remember, it's a 2-week Super Bowl, and it's not just that. It's a 2-week Super Bowl with 4 teams. So the 2 teams with the best record will advance with a bye, and they'll get to play in that 2 weeks with home field advantage built in as points per week if they have maybe it might be the other teams that have higher points, and then the 2 winners of the wild card week. So my prediction is for this Super Bowl week is Cardinals, the Gargoyles, the Badgers, and Dr. Dangerous. So that's what I'm picking. We will see. Last year I got 2 division winners right, and came within a late Tony Pollard touchdown, I think, of predicting the Super Bowl correctly. So that's close last year. Didn't do it though. But anyway, that is the show for this week. The playoff or the season starts in 3 days. So make sure to set your rosters, and if you haven't paid, please send out your check immediately. So that's that. We will play you out here with a song. So thank you for tuning in, and be tuned in next week for the week 1 recap. Thank you.